This is kind of like Disneyland for gun enthusiasts.
That by working together, we can win.
I've been to 5 war zones, places like Afghanistan, Colombia, Somalia. This is the site where Black Hawk Down occurred. Where guns are the common currency. That truck, and it's got a huge machine gun pointed right at our car. I've shopped at arms bazaars around the world where people can buy an AK-47 easier than they can get food. This is an RPG, right? How much is this one right here? $150. And it's easy in these faraway, dangerous places to marvel at the sight of an 8-year-old kid carrying a grenade launcher and think, what a wild world we live in. But it's a myth, because when it comes to the number of guns, America is the wildest place in the world. So I set off on a journey across America, from the heartland to the hotland. Knob Creek, Kentucky, to the most dangerous city in America, Camden, New Jersey, to see how the proliferation of guns is shaping the country. Go ahead! This is fully automatic America. Okay, so here I am. I'm just outside of Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm headed to Knob Creek Gun Range for the country's biggest machine gun shoot. Dude, I think it started. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Like I said, you can shoot anything you want here. Knob Creek, the country's biggest machine gun shoot. It's kind of like a festival celebrating gun ownership. Guns, a controversial issue in American politics and society for sure. But here, the sentiment is clear. Guns are a way of life.
Getting up on the firing line, in my opinion, it's like the ultimate treat. I'm in the gun business 24/7. But coming here there's no other way to describe it. It's awesome. I'm originally from New York City, where you can't do anything. I mean, you can't own a slingshot or a water pistol unless it's orange. And we end up moving out to Pennsylvania to get away from that. And even that state, which is a fairly free state, you can shoot, but you can't shoot like you can shoot here in West Point, Kentucky.
So, Jack, how old are you?
9.
9? And how long have you been shooting the 50 cal?
Probably about 3 times I've come up here.
So who brought you here?
My mom and my grandfather.
Where's your grandpa?
Right there.
For you, there's value in bringing your grandson out and teaching him about guns and teaching him to shoot.
You know, kids that fool around out here with these things, you don't have any trouble out of them. They got all aggression already out of their system.
Yeah, we've been coming down here for quite a few years. I haven't missed it in 17 years.
17 years? These are your boys?
This is my boy, and this is his friend. You got short barrel, you stick your finger forward.
And how old are you guys?
12.
Give us an idea of like what it means, like why you teach your kids about guns.
It's something that I've grown up with, and I enjoyed it. I enjoy the sport. I enjoy hand loading and shooting and hunting. And I'm just trying to bring him up in the same environment that I enjoyed as a child, and just teach him safe gun handling techniques and just enjoy the sport in general.
You guys excited?
Yeah.
You amped? Nice.
We got full auto at home, so we kind of play around with it on our. We got a little mini range behind our house. We shoot and things like that. So, but the only thing we don't have is a flamethrower. We don't have a flamethrower.
So who are these guys? Like, who are your patrons? They're gun enthusiasts. They're collectors.
Collectors, lawyers, just hobbyists. A lot of people don't know that these are law-abiding citizens, and it takes a lot of paperwork and time to get this stuff. None of these guys got criminal records, and most of them's never been to jail. So you got to fly the straight and narrow to have this stuff.
Just to possess one of these things without the right paperwork is a $250,000 fine and 20-year jail sentence.
When I was in high school, they had the Columbine shooting and everything. Some people kind of looked at me like,
yeah,
what's he gonna do?
Nut.
But I'm a gun nut, But there's a difference between me and those kids. A difference between somebody that is taught how to use these guns and understand, besides some kid that said, you know, I'm just going to go kill people because I saw it on TV or, you know, played a video game. A lot of people don't realize that it was guns that helped us keep our country the way it is. If you take our guns away and nobody, like all these law-abiding citizens don't have any guns, well, who's the only ones that have guns? You got cops and robbers. So what good does that do? It's not, you know, well, what if they break in my house? Boom, boom, I'm dead. You know, I didn't have nothing to protect myself.
All right, so another big part of the Knob Creek Gun Show is the vendor tent, which basically, as the owner of the event told us, like, if you can't find it here, like, you can't find it. They're selling anything and everything to do with guns, machine guns, weapons, knives, accessories, all that stuff. So you can see behind me and you can see down the line here that there's just hundreds of vendors selling all the accessories. Come here, come check this out. Automatic grenade launcher.
My favorite would probably be the minigun.
You know what's so crazy about this, you guys, is like normally these are mounted on like a helicopter. Like they're hanging outside the doors of like a 60 Blackhawk or something, and up and down and around. Wow. Never seen one of these on at a gun range before.
Yeah, you can buy them.
You can buy one?
Yeah, there's a few.
I can't even imagine what it costs.
But I can guarantee you that's probably going to be about $250, $300.
You know why this place is wild? Is because every time you think you've seen it all, then some dude shows up with his own tank, starts blasting away.
For the man who wants to take his neighborhood watch to the next level. We take it serious in our neighborhood.
But to advocates of stricter gun control, it's shows like this one which are a big part of the problem. They want tougher laws governing the buying and selling of weapons. But even the laws themselves can be problematic sometimes. The gun laws and the gun legislation is extraordinarily complex. So for example, in most states, this would be a legal barrel to have as your part of your AR-15, part of your machine gun, whereas this one, this 10 1/4 inch barrel, would not be legal, right? So general rule of thumb is that the smaller barrels tend to be illegal and the longer barrels tend to be legal. As I got ready for the night shoot, the grand finale of this event, I thought about the role of guns in America. Regardless of how you feel about them, they are a part of the fabric of American society. As our time in Knob Creek ended, I was able to put aside the controversy for a second and enjoy Knob Creek's homage to what they consider an integral part of the American idea. There's another side to the issue of guns in America. For every legal gun we saw at Knob Creek, there's a countless pool of illegal guns that make their way onto the streets of American cities. One of those cities plagued by gun violence is Camden, New Jersey. A stone's throw across the river from downtown Philadelphia, in 2005 and 2006, Camden was rated the most dangerous city in America. It's a city suffering from crime, much of it gun-related. One of the highest per capita murder rates, thousands of guns seized each year, and gun-related crime make it the perfect place to look at another side of American gun culture. Because of the types of weapons available, the law enforcement agencies have been forced to increase their firepower as well. So this is creating a virtual arms race in the streets. The marshals have adopted new weapons and new tactics to counter the growing threat. So this is military-grade hardware, right. And you're telling me that there's military-grade hardware or military-like hardware out there on the streets as well. So, like, what are the consequences?
Well, the consequences are I'm trained fully to use these weapons, and they're not. And as you see, innocent people pay the price for that.
Just saw the blinds move up in that window up there, meaning that somebody's actually in the house. They did the same thing last week, different house. Guy had an AK-47 on him, right? So because of the kind of firepower that they're seeing on the streets of Camden, right, they can't afford to take any chances. That's why you see them geared up, going in. fully prepared as if anything could happen. We continued an entire morning nabbing suspects with the marshals. We went on 7 raids, arrested 4 suspects, 2 of them for assaults that involved weapons. But despite the arrests, it felt a little bit like digging a hole in water. You take one suspect or one gun off the street, but it just seems like there's another one rushing in to fill the void.
I know these youngsters, they're not getting the guns from Camden. No. Okay? They're getting it from Philadelphia. I don't know how they bring them over here, but that's a big problem.
But does it really matter where the guns are coming from? Like, the bottom line is people are getting shot, right?
People are getting shot, but in the state of New Jersey, the gun laws are much stricter than they are in Pennsylvania.
Exactly.
And when you have the accessibility of getting a gun right over the bridge, I mean, you know, logistically, Camden sits right on the border of Philadelphia. So while, you know, the guns may not be the biggest problem, the fact that they're much harder to get in New Jersey, but yet you can go 5 minutes across the bridge and have a, you know, a straw purchase or buy a gun and bring it back and sell it to a 15-year-old on our street, that's a problem. That's a big problem.
So we went 5 minutes across the bridge to Philadelphia to talk to a gun dealer who's been heavily criticized because of the high number of straw purchases coming out of his shop. Straw purchases are like the shoulder tapping of gun buying. Someone buys a gun legally, then passes it on to someone else illegally. Calissimo's, a longtime Philadelphia gun shop, was once ranked by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms as one of the worst places for straw purchasing in the country.
I've been in business 57 years. My family has been in this business going back, I think, to 1917.
Where do those guns that are being used in crimes in, take Camden again, for example, where do those guns come from?
Stolen guns. Stolen. Not from a legitimate gun dealer. They do not come from a legitimate gun dealer.
At some point, though, they start from a legitimate gun dealer. They originate.
They originated, but after they're stolen, they're not legitimate guns. They're stolen guns.
Is there an issue if somebody buys a gun who clears legally, and then, but suppose they then give that gun to someone else?
Well, then that's the person that's violating the law. I mean, not the dealer.
Do you, as a gun shop dealer, as the owner of a gun shop, bear any responsibility for those guns that end up on the street?
No, I don't, and I don't feel the least bit guilty about those guns because I did not put them on the street. Because the guns that I sold were sold legitimately. These were guns that were either stolen or sold by the individuals. No. I do not, and I don't think any other dealer feels that he bears any responsibility for it. See, they're trying to legislate on guns, right? It's not the guns, it's the people that use them. Guns do not kill people, it's people kill people.
Assault weapons are indeed showing up on the streets. Exhibit A, the evidence room. All right, so what's happening now is I've just come into the evidence vault of the Camden Police Department, and we're looking at a series of guns that have been confiscated, basically, and we're here just to show you the kind of stuff that's been taken off the streets in Camden, to give you an idea of, one, the proliferation of guns in Camden, and two, the type of stuff that, you know, the people, the cops, the police can all be up against. And as you can see, like, there's hundreds of guns here.